Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Watch Theories TV. I am back with another review. This one is of P-Valley Season 2, Episode 6, Savage. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. You already know. So let's begin with the review. So basically, this episode starts off with, Diamond and Big Bone. They basically, they get it in. And, after they're done, basically, while they're, doing a deed, he is thinking about Keyshawn basically. So he's basically still in love with her, and basically he's more so interested in her more than Big Bone. I can see why Keyshawn has more soul to her, I believe, and just has a somewhat of an interesting, almost kind of like innocence to her compared to Big Bone, who I don't know, she just seemed like a regular stripper chick basically. I don't know much to say about her, but Keyshawn definitely seems to have more personality, I would say. But anyway, so after they get done, basically she gets to know Dime a little bit more and also starts to observe his house and see that he's also into diamonds and crystals and stuff like that. He's into, I'm not sure what he's into, some type of down south witchcrafty true blood type stuff. I don't know what he's into, but he's into some type of black magic stuff. I don't know what it is, but she seemed to be into that stuff, I guess, also, or maybe she just pretend like she's interested in it. But they are sort of in a relationship. I don't really feel like they're gonna stay together for long. Obviously, Diamond still has a thing for Keyshawn, so most likely he's just gonna be messing with this girl for now. But we ain't seen Big Bone in a minute though. But I guess what that relationship's gonna personally be like. But anyway, so Little Murder, he ends up also giving Big Teak a car, so this is pretty interesting. He gives him a car and stuff like that, and he seems to be happy. I guess maybe this is the first time Big Teak's ever had a car or anybody ever really did anything good for him. So he's completely enjoying this, and their relationship seemed like it's going in a right direction in this episode. Just every they spent a whole day together, and everything seemed to be going pretty well. But we're going to get back into them though. Big L and Clifford are basically trying to get Autumn out of the pink. They know that she's been living there, so Big L basically ends up, I think he cuts the water off, and Autumn completely goes off on him about that. So they're trying to just basically flush this girl out completely, but she ain't got no place else to go, so hey. Also, Big Tiki finally ends up giving himself a haircut, and he ends up basically turning into D. Ray Davis, if anybody noticed that. So, yeah, I was wondering if they're related or something like that, because he was definitely looking like his clone. An angrier, less happier, funny version of D. Ray Davis. Yeah, that's who Big Teak is looking like. But anyway, speaking of Keyshawn, Keyshawn tells Little Murder basically about how Rome basically attempted to rape her, and and basically also I think she also tells him that Rome basically sort of put his closeted lifestyle out there. So that kind of puts Little Murder on edge. First Little Murder was shocked that Rome ended up dying, and then basically he's like, okay, well I don't care about him dying after hearing about what he's been up to. So that's how that is. It's definitely gonna have some repercussions throughout the rest of this season. I think eventually it's gonna be found out that Little Murder is basically in the closet. Eventually, he's gonna come out. Eventually, and we're gonna find out probably. I think before the end of this season, it is gonna have to come out eventually. I believe. Let's skip to Mercedes. Mercedes drops food off at Shelly's house, and she sees that she's basically in a completely drunken stupor, just a complete mess. And but Shelly still refuses to let Mercedes adopt Tarika. So she feels that hey, you may have birthed her, but you're not a real mother type of thing going on there. But definitely Shelly is not really in a right state of mind, being drunk and having to try to get her daughter to drive her places. So definitely she's not looking like a good person to be a partner. But then again, Mercedes, basically sort of become a bit of a I don't even know what to call it because she's basically sleeping around for money, so it may not be the best place for Tarika to technically be living up under her. So I don't know how that's gonna really work for Tarika. Maybe she might have to live with her grandmother, but then again, her grandmother is kind of crazy too. So who knows? We'll get into Tarika later on in this episode because we got some stuff to say about her also. Anyway, Coach likes Mercedes basically having sex with his wife. He likes it and he sort of wants to continue this going on. Definitely Mercedes doesn't seem like she really wants this to happen because she feels that it might possibly end up turning into something bad. And little does she know, she is totally right. Um, Let me see. I like the scene where Big Teak and Little Murder they're in the restaurant and they're like some type of diner, and I thought the scene was really funny when the waitress ends up calling Big Teak a red bone. I thought that was hilarious. In this episode, we see Big Teak. We see him smiling a lot, so it was pretty interesting seeing that. Him being so much more happier and stuff like that. It was just weird. He's so used to being aggressive and going off. To see him smile and be happy was a change of events. Then Little Murder and Big T, they seem like they're growing closer in the diner when they were speaking. And Big T ends up asking about Clifford. He wants to know more about him and stuff like that. And, Little Murder says little stern stuff about Clifford and stuff like that. But Big T still seems like he struggles to get close to Little Murder. He seems like he's still struggling to get closer with him. So, yeah. So when we see what basically happens at the end of this episode, it's like, it's kind of sad, just like, I do feel like it's one of those tropes that they do in most TV shows nowadays called bury the gays, where they have to basically every gay character always ends up dying off. It does seem like I didn't think that Big T was gonna end up getting he's gonna go out the way he did. But then again, also we have Clifford here, so he's another character that's also gay, that's not dead. So I guess it doesn't completely go into that trope of every gay person has to die on every TV show, but basically, I'll get back into Big T though. Let's go back to Keyshawn. Keyshawn, she's been basically hiding this cute little pink gun that she seems to want to possibly use on Derek. When he ends up going off to basically, I forgot what he was doing, going to help somebody out. She ends up taking the kids and she plans on getting out of Dodge, getting the heck up out of here. And she hops in the car and the car doesn't work. I was thinking that Big Derek was going to hit a U turn to go back to the house and catch her, but he already had it planned ahead of time by basically, I think he took a battery out of the car. He did something. I don't know what he did, but so he already had a plan to prevent her from being able to get out of the house. Ah, dang. What is there to say? Honestly, I almost feel like she should have probably got an Uber or something like that. Maybe get up out of there. But that crazy hillbilly dude. Little Murder hears his music on the radio while he was on the gas station with Big Teak and stuff like that. When he was basically teaching Big Teak how to pump gas because he must have forgot. He ends up finally hearing his music on the radio. He's super happy. Like I said, this episode, just seeing both of them together happy was really interesting to see. I didn't think that was going to happen. I mean, I did, the way how it ended was just kind of sad. But basically, we see Little Murder. He's happy. His music is playing on the radio, and Big Teak is happy for him. So, back at the Pink, we see Roulette and Whisper. They're completely just dominating the Pink. They're the two new girls just came along, and they're just everybody's come to see them. They're just completely dominating the Pink. Everybody loves them. They're just doing their thing. And one guy wants Roulette to basically put in a good word for him so he can hook up with Whisper. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a good idea. I thought something was going to happen in this episode, but then again, we already had in a previous episode, a dude, attacking a woman. So I'm happy that didn't happen again in this episode. That just would have been overbearing to see all of that stuff like that. But I had the feeling that something bad was going to happen to Whisper. But then again, she got some weird type of psychic telekinetic stuff. I would think that she could maybe sense danger. But it seemed like Roulette might even be willing to possibly sell out one of her own friends to hook up with some stranger that they want to have sex with her. That sounds like that's going to turn into some Players Club type stuff where something might happen to Whisper. She might get, locked up someplace, messed around one of these crazy dudes because Roulette basically trying to turn the Pink into a brothel. So, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be a good idea. But we don't see nothing happen necessarily in this episode. But most likely there's going to be some type of strained relationship between Roulette and Whisper if anything happens to her. So, definitely seem like Roulette might possibly want to sell out her own friend just to maybe make some money. I don't know. But that's what I got to kind of get the feeling that might happen. Mercedes doesn't want Farah to basically mess up her money. when we see that she ends up meeting Farah in this episode with Coach, she basically ain't trying to mess up her money. She's not trying to basically crap where she eats. She ain't trying to do all of this, getting into no lesbian relationship with the person that she's basically, just putting money into her pockets. So, she's not trying to necessarily get into all of that stuff. It's gonna really mess up the stacks that she's been making. You know what I'm saying? Autumn goes to this. I think it's like a masquerade ball or whatever it is, in parties where they, put them. I think it's a masquerade, whatever it is. But she ends up going there where Andre is at. He's conducting business, and Andre and Kyle basically do not want her there. They feel like she's gonna mess up some of their business deals. So basically, Kyle ends up having her completely thrown out. But of course, Autumn, she has a few tricks up her sleeve. She seems like she's become like a secondary character in this season. I thought in like the first season she was like a main character. I don't know. She seemed like she's become more secondary now. So I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, back at the Pink, we see Diamond. Basically, he's back to being a bouncer in a club, and he's walking around with a what looks to be like a AK-47 or maybe an AR-15. He's always done the most. His character back earlier in the season when he was basically being security at a grocery store, you gotta choke people out. And Diamond's an interesting character, but he definitely be doing way too much sometimes though. But walking around a club with a machine gun, I don't know about all of that. That's He's wilding out a little bit, but he's a really interesting character though when he gets into his weird mythical crystal stuff he be doing. Anyway, um, basically, we see in this episode, Mercedes, she ends up having a basically a little bit of a session going on again with Coach and his wife, and Coach ends up finding out that Farah is bisexual, and this completely all crashes and burns just like Mercedes predicted. And this ends up getting Coach mad. He ends up kicking Mercedes out. Mercedes ends up sort of breaking it off, I guess, sort of with Farah. But then again, I feel like they might possibly have a lesbian relationship outside of this. But then again, also Farah's married, so I don't see that really happening. So maybe it probably won't. But it completely crashes and burns. So now most likely Mercedes is going to have to go back to the Pink or get herself a 9 to 5 because she completely just messed up her bag by getting too into the moment with Farah, so that kind of just messed everything up, just like she predicted. So, wow. Duffy and Roulette, they seem to get closer, and their relationship is slowly evolving and stuff like that. And she ends up admitting to him that she's a garden tool, if you know what I'm talking about. She refers to herself as an H to the Izzo. And then he seems like he's not bothered by it because he refers to himself as a garden tool, and they end up kissing. So, all right, I didn't see that coming, but that's their relationship. So this is one of the relationships I'm the least interested in. It just seems kind of boring. Duffy and Roulette, I don't see them all that impressive. I'm interested in character Roulette, but the character Duffy, he's some type of drug dealer guy. I don't know. He works with Big L. And I don't really care about his character that much. He's not that interesting to me just yet. So he has to develop his character a little bit more. So there's not much I can say about Duffy and Roulette. Wody or Woody, I still can't pronounce his name. I don't know how to pronounce it though. But Wody tells Little Murder that basically Big T can't go on the road with them because he's basically acting wild. He's losing it. He's going off on people and stuff like that. Especially after he went off on Gidget, he's just completely losing his mind. He's too much. And he tells me, "Hey, you can't go on the road with us." Then while Wody's talking, he basically ends up almost dry snitching on himself about Rome's OD. Lil Murder's like, "How do you know that he basically OD'd?" And Woody's like, "Whoa, let me keep my mouth shut." So basically, he ends up damn near snitching on himself. So that's how that is. But most likely, Little Murder ain't gonna snitch on Woody. Little Murder don't even care about Rome dying anyway. So that's how that is. Big Teak has while he's in this like the trap house they go into, he ends up having some weird type of childhood trauma while he's in there and stuff like that. Little Murder basically has to console him, when he comes in there and tells him, "Hey, you forgot your gun," which he ends up using later on in a not so good way. But basically we see that, Big Teak, I thought he was just maybe crazy because he'd been in prison or maybe because he has pent up issues with his sexuality or something like that. I thought maybe that was wrong, but it's really just some childhood issues he got going on. that he hasn't resolved. That he is basically almost like a little kid in a grown man's body. He got some issues. He definitely got to talk to a therapist or maybe a psychiatrist. But basically, Little Murder's there to console him, and they get up out of there. So Autumn uses Georgia, this rich lady, to basically get into the smoke room at the masquerade party so she can conduct some business. And Autumn gets what she wants. She finally able to get a better deal for the pink. So she was able to do what she wanted. And basically, Andre doesn't seem like he's too happy about that, but he basically lets her do what she does. And back at home for Clifford, he's with his mom, stuff like that, and she's just basically coughing, just going on, just coughing, coughing, coughing. He calls up a friend, they're coughing, coughing, coughing. So basically, COVID is just spreading around, getting to everybody. So that's what he got to deal with. His mom most likely got COVID, and whoever he was talking to on the phone, one of the stripper girls, they got COVID. So it's just completely just wiping out the whole. Just everybody getting COVID in this episode, I guess. Anyway, once Kyle ends up heading home, he ends up seeing Autumn is there, and she basically just pops up in his house somehow. I don't know if she got a key, but the whole scene looked like something from a 1970s noir film or something like that. Sometimes the way Autumn talks is like she sounds like she's straight out of a soap opera from the 70s or something like that. Sometimes she don't even sound like a real person at times. Like, she's just like almost like a like a I don't know. She don't even sound real half the time. Some of the scenes that she have with Andre, it feels almost something out of I don't know, like some type of romance movie. It's like a I don't know, like a weird type of soap opera noir. I don't know what they be trying to go through with that, but sometimes I don't even feel like they talk like real people. Like certain scenes like that seem weird just to pop up in his house like that out of nowhere. What if he had a gun? Like what? She just popped up out of nowhere in the shadows. What if he had company? Like but anyway, she pop up there and stuff like that, and basically you can feel the sexual tension between the two, even though that they've been conducting business and trying to, you know, having business issues going on, stuff like that. You can feel the sexual tension between them two, and then they get it in. So that's how it goes with them. So you can basically say that maybe they might be back together because things between Andre and his wife completely fell apart. So most likely you can say that him and Autumn are basically back together. But then again, that might mess up some business deals because Andre is still basically working with Kyle, and Kyle hates Autumn. So that might possibly mess up some stuff going on between them two. Mess up some of their business deals. Um, then back with Big Teak, basically he shares some childhood stories, about I think it was about his mom hurting his siblings or something like that. I didn't really hear him too well because he was talking really low and there was no subtitles. And basically shares some of his childhood trauma that he had. He shares that with Little Murder. And they're about to drive off, and Big T basically wants Little Murder to get out of the car so he can be some get some time to himself. But Little Murder seemed like something's going on with him, and basically pulls out a gun and puts it to his head. I thought Little Murder would be able to convince him to not do it, but he pulls the trigger. Big T, man, he was a wild character. I don't know much I can say about him. I know he's going to be killed off so early, killing himself off. I mean, he already had rivals. I thought maybe there might have been some type of meeting up between him and Clifford, but he ends up offing himself. I did not see that coming. I don't know what I can say about that. I did not see that coming at all. That was a shocker. But yeah, man, R.I.P. to that character. Man, but he did seem happy. I mean, he spent the whole episode with Little Murder, so I like to see them together. In this episode, them, everything seemed like it turned out good. I did not know that he was gonna off himself, but yeah, that was a bit heavy. Tarika basically tells Mercedes that she's gonna be on an episode of Teen Mom because she's pregnant. So wow, it's kind of ironic because Mercedes ended up getting pregnant at a young age too. So history repeating herself. So that's going on with Tarika. And then at the end of the episode, Little Murder goes to Clifford's place to get some comfort, about his boyfriend dying, which is kind of awkward because technically Little Murder wants to be with Clifford. So that's kind of awkward. But he's going to go, he goes there to comfort, to get some comfort after experiencing, Big T offing himself in front of him. So yeah, this was a really good episode. A lot went on. I don't really know if I have any predictions for this episode, but it was a really good one. So much stuff went on in this episode. I do believe Keyshawn's going to eventually end up shooting her crazy baby daddy. Definitely, you can tell Little Murder and Clifford are going to probably link back together. But then again, it's going to be kind of hard because Little Murder can't really come out because he's, afraid the world's going to judge him because he's supposed to be a gangster rapper. Autumn and Kyle, they not Autumn and Kyle, Autumn and Andre most likely gonna hook up, but then again, like I said, they got business going on, so it's gonna probably screw up their business. I also believe Mercedes is gonna go back to working at the Pink, even though basically physically she can't do it, but she's gonna have to make some money some way, especially now that she has her, daughter back again, and she's basically gonna be on 16 and pregnant, so she's gonna have to think of something. Most likely, I believe she's gonna go back to the Pink though, or maybe find some new people to, to I guess have sex with so she can get paid. But yeah. So like I said, this episode is a really good one. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, all that stuff. More reviews coming for Pink Valley, P Valley. If you love anything with that involves P Valley, subscribe to my channel, watch Darius TV, and thank you for watching my video.